Sometimes I reckon the pit wall looks like they're controlling a spaceship with all those dials and knobs.
You're not wrong. Each of those adjustments, from brake bias to differential settings, has a profound effect on car behavior. It's like tuning a guitar, but instead of strings, you're tweaking mechanical symphonies to get the car singing just right on the track.
There's the first flying lap for Patrick Schwanz, hitting 151.024. It's a start, but they'll be looking to iron out those kinks as they get more laps under their belt.
Right on, Rob. It's early in the session, so there's plenty of time to experiment and find those extra tenths of a second.
Watch as Eddie G takes it nice and easy on his outlap. It's not just about warming up the tires, it's about getting into that mental pit lane, tuning into the race mindset.
For sure, Rob, they're calibrating everything, the brakes, the steering, the throttle response. It's a crucial part of laying down the groundwork for a successful practice session.
Patrick Schwanz posted 151.024 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Look at Eddie G taking it nice and easy, a smart move. Like a chess player contemplating the opening move, they're planning several steps ahead.
Spot on. They're mentally mapping each corner, each straight. It's not just about the car, it's about strategy and foresight.
Patrick Schwanz had the best lap time of 150.228. Hey Hal, you reckon these drivers ever get tired of going round and round during practice?
Well, Rob, repetition is the key. Every lap gives you data, insights, and an edge over the competition.
Patrick Schwanz crosses the line with their first flyer, clocking a 151.023. They're getting to grips with Monza, feeling out its quirks and corners.
It's like the first round of a chess match, Rob. They're making their opening moves, setting up for the later, faster laps where they'll really show their hand.
Yoff is on the out lap, not just warming up the tires, but also warming up their instincts, getting that racer's intuition dialed in.
True that. They're getting the feel of the track, the car, the conditions. It's all about setting the stage for what's to come.
Look at Eddie G go, they're really giving it some jandal now. The first flyer is always a bit of a reconnaissance mission, a mix of caution and raw pace.
You bet, Rob. They're mapping out the track, feeling out the grip levels, and getting a sense of how the car is performing today. It's a crucial lap for building confidence.
And off goes YOB, easing into the rhythm of Monza. This lap is like the first sip of your morning coffee, waking up the sensors, priming the engines.
Yeah, it's about syncing up with the machine, getting that perfect harmony between driver and car. It's like a prelude to a symphony that's about to unfold on the track.
Eddie G's first flyer is a solid start, clocking in at 9:30.436. They're getting a feel for the track, but there's room to shave off a few more seconds.
Absolutely, Rob. It's all about finding those little tweaks, adjusting the line here, braking a tad later there. Every lap is a learning curve.
And there's YOB, easing out onto Monza. It's like the first step on a long hike, finding your footing before you hit full stride.
Right, and every racer knows this out lap is precious. It's their first handshake with the track today, feeling out its mood and temperament.
Patrick Schwanz's first serious lap is in the books with a time of 1:54.544. Good effort, but I'm expecting them to really push the envelope in the next few laps.
Yeah, it's about building that momentum, Rob. Fine-tuning their approach with each turn, each lap, getting more out of the car and themselves.
In these sessions, they're not just pushing the car's limits, but their own too. Testing their mettle, seeing how far they can go before the big dance.
Exactly. It's a mental game as much as a physical one. Balancing aggression with precision, daring with data. It's an art and a science.
Now, here's a term some might not be familiar with: roll bar stiffness. Sounds technical, doesn't it?
It does, but in essence, it's about how the car reacts to lateral forces, especially during cornering. Adjusting the roll bar can change how the car behaves mid-corner. A softer setting can be more forgiving, but a stiffer one might give the driver a quicker response, albeit with less margin for error.
With just 4 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Alright, Patrick Schwanz has put down a 1:51.331. It's a decent benchmark, but I reckon there's more juice to squeeze out of that Porsche 911 RSR 2018.
For sure, Rob, it's early days. They're just starting to sync up with the track. We'll likely see those times tumble as they dial in.
Yoff posted a 2:02.231 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Patrick Schwanz has a best lap time of 1:49.906. Yoff has a best lap time of 1:50.330. There's the first flying lap for Patrick Schwanz, hitting 2:01.219. It's a start, but they'll be looking to iron out those kinks as they get more laps under their belt.
Right on, Rob. It's early in the session, so there's plenty of time to experiment and find those extra tenths of a second.
Yoff crosses the line with their first flyer, clocking a 1:51.657. They're getting to grips with Monza, feeling out its quirks and corners.
It's like the first round of a chess match, Rob. They're making their opening moves, setting up for the later, faster laps where they'll really show their hand.
With just 0 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Alright, YOV has put down a 1:51.657. It's a decent benchmark, but I reckon there's more juice to squeeze out of that Porsche 911 RSR 2018.
For sure, Rob. It's early days. They're just starting to sync up with the track. We'll likely see those times tumble as they dial in.
Smells like Wee is out there, taking it slow and steady on the outlap. This lap is like the calm before the storm, a moment of zen before pushing the limits.
That's right. It's about understanding the track's personality today, a Euro. Each day, each lap can tell a different story, especially at a track like Monza.
there goes Smells Like We on their first dance with Monza. Every bend, every straight is a chance to learn, to adapt.
Yep, and it's about syncing with the car too. Making sure everything's in harmony. It's like tuning an instrument before a big concert.
I'm Rob the commentator bot. Bring it on. The engines are revving up and the drivers are ready to hit the gas pedal for this qualifying session at Monza.
Let's see who's got the speed and the skills to take the pole position.
There are just over 15 minutes left in this qualification session. There are just over 15 minutes left in this qualification session. Andreas Dittmann has positioned themselves well in fourth during qualifying. The challenge now is to assess their competitors and strategize how to move up the order for a better race start. It's a dominant performance from Patrick Schwanz in this qualification session. They have shown exceptional form and are leading the way. Their confidence is shining through, and they are proving why they are considered one of the best in the business.
You're absolutely right, Rob. Patrick Schwanz has asserted their authority on the track with their commanding performance. The gap between them and the rest of the field is quite significant.
It's an impressive showing by Smells Like We, currently in fifth. They've showcased their talent, but will they be able to find those crucial extra tenths of a second to climb higher? Patrick Schwanz has secured a respectable fourth in the qualifying session. Can they capitalize on this position and use it as a launching pad for a stronger race performance? It's an impressive showing by Andreas Dittmann in qualifying. They have set the bar high, leading the way with their exceptional performance. It's a fantastic position to be in, and they will be looking to convert it into a strong race result.
Well said, Rob. Andreas Dittmann is truly in a league of their own in this qualification session. Their dominant display is a testament to their talent and determination.
Currently in second, Patrick Schwanz has displayed promising speed during the qualifying session. The real test lies in whether they can convert this performance into a higher grid position. Patrick Schwanz has completed their outlap. A solid performance from Mr. Bang as they currently hold position 6. However, with the session coming to a close, they'll need to find that extra bit of speed if they want to move up the grid.
Spot on analysis, Rob. Mr. Bang has positioned themselves well in 6th. It's now crucial for them to maintain their focus and defend their position in the upcoming race.
Mr. Bang has completed their outlap. A strong showing from Andreas Dittmann as they currently sit in third. With the session drawing to a close, they'll need to dig deep and find that extra burst of speed to improve. Andreas Dittmann has completed their outlap. A solid qualifying performance by Patrick Schwanz, positioning them in 4th at the moment. The question now is whether they can make further progress and challenge the frontrunners.
I couldn't agree more, Rob. Patrick Schwanz has done a fantastic job to claim 4th. The challenge now is to convert this opportunity into a strong race result.
Patrick Schwanz has completed their outlap. Impressive display by Mr. Bang, currently sitting in position 2. They've set a competitive time, but the question remains whether they can push even harder to secure a better starting position. Impressive work from Patrick Schwanz, who has claimed 6th on the grid. Now, the focus is on maintaining their composure and pushing for an even better starting position. Incredible drive by Andreas Dittmann so far, earning him 4th on the grid. However, the competition is fierce. Will they be able to find that extra edge to move up? Andreas Dittmann has just completed a lap in 1:53.150. Their best lap so far is 1:53.150. Putting them in P2, will they be able to hold on to that spot? A dominant display by YOV. In this qualifying session, they have put in a stunning lap time and find themselves at the top of the leaderboard. The other drivers will have their work cut out to match their speed and claim that pole position.
Spot on analysis, Rob. YOV is currently in a dominant position, setting the standard for their rivals. Their consistent and impressive performance is setting them up for a strong starting position.
Patrick Schwanz has positioned themselves well in 6th during qualifying. The challenge now is to assess their competitors and strategize how to move up the order for a better race start. Patrick Schwanz has completed their outlap. What a performance from YOV. They currently occupy 2nd on the grid. Can they maintain this strong position and secure a favorable starting spot?
You hit the nail on the head, Rob. YOV's current position of 2nd is a testament to their skill and determination. Now, they must stay sharp to make the most of this opportunity.
Currently in 2nd, Patrick Schwanz has displayed promising speed during the qualifying session. The real test lies in whether they can convert this performance into a higher grid position. Patrick Schwanz has just completed a lap in 150.457. Let's see if they can improve on the time further. Smells Like We has secured a respectable 6th in the qualifying session. Can they capitalize on this position and use it as a launching pad for a stronger race performance?
Great analysis, Rob. Smells like
It's a stellar performance from Smells Like We, clinching 5th.
they're in a great spot, Rob, but in qualifying, complacency can be your worst enemy. They need to keep pushing the limits while staying cool under pressure. It may be difficult for them to improve further on that. Sometimes trying too hard makes you slower. They need to drive smooth and smart.
Incredible performance by YOV. So far, they have been the benchmark in this qualification session, consistently setting fast lap times and securing the top spot. It's a commanding position for them, and their rivals will be chasing their tail. A solid performance from Smells Like We as they currently hold position 5. However, with the session coming to a close, they'll need to find that extra bit of speed if they want to move up the grid.
You're spot on, Rob. Smells Like We's current position of 5th is a testament to their skills and determination. Now, they face the challenge of maintaining their position against hungry rivals.
A solid qualifying performance by Andreas Dittmann, positioning them in 6th at the moment. The question now is whether they can make further progress and challenge the frontrunners. It's an impressive showing by Smells Like We, currently in 5th. They've showcased their talent, but will they be able to find those crucial extra tenths of a second to climb higher?
Couldn't agree more, Rob. Smells Like We has positioned themselves impressively in 5th. Now, they need to build on this foundation and strive for an even better race result.
Looks like Smells Like We is making a statement, securing a spot in 5th.
Yep, Rob, but there's always room for improvement. Smooth, consistent laps might just be the key to climbing even higher before this session wraps up.
You've joined us on a breezy day here at Monza, as we're getting ready to get things underway. Starting from pole position is the perfect place for YOV to launch an attack.
But they can't count their chickens before they hatch. There is a long way to go.
And in the second position, it's none other than Patrick Schwanz. Coming in at third, we have Mr. Bang. Starting just behind the front runners in fourth place is the determined driver, Eddie G.
Eddie G will be taking no prisoners today.
And in fifth place, we have Smells Like Weed. Andreas Dittmann has qualified sixth.
Starting on the medium's tires.
Hold on to your exuberance, the ceremonial green flag has made its appearance. Like a good debate, it's time to see who takes the lead in this dialogue of engines.
These opening moments can make or break a driver's race. Strategy and skill are key to navigating this intense start.
I can't wait to see how this race will play out. The stewards will be hoping that there aren't too many incidents for them to pick over when the dust settles on this one. They say, steady as she goes, and that's exactly what Andreas Dittmann's doing. Holding on to 6, maybe they've got a trick or two up their sleeve for later. The tension is palpable here. No one will want to make a crucial mistake on the first lap. The drivers are jockeying for position. Patrick Schwanz will be looking to get off to a good start and consolidate their position. Having started in 2, Patrick Schwanz will be looking to establish themselves in this race. Oi, Smells Like Weed's chassis balance is on point today. They're handling bumps and curbs smoother than a crop sliding into water. Mr. Bang's got a battle ahead. An impressive showing from Smells Like Weed, who has gained positions and left Mr. Bang in the dust. Oh, this is getting intense. Smells Like Weed is just behind Mr. Bang. Things are heating up as Patrick Schwanz closes in on YOV. The gap between them is down to practically nothing. Stone the Crows. Patrick Schwanz is on fire, surging ahead like there's a free round at the pub waiting. Hello, first.
That kind of move? That's what happens when you mix horsepower with a dash of southern charm.
I've been going over some historical stats, and the lap records at Monza have been shattered so many times.
It's a testament to the ever-evolving world of motorsport. What was once considered fast becomes the norm, and drivers and engineers are always pushing the envelope.
If Patrick Schwanz can keep this up, they deserve a cold one after the race.
Agreed. It may be the sweet taste of victory or help ease the loss. Patrick Schwantz needs to get the lead out Rob, otherwise their backside is going to look like the Japanese flag coming in.
The fans are on the edge of their seats. It doesn't get any closer than this. Things are looking as crook as Rookwood for YOV, lagging behind Patrick Schwantz and the gap stretching out like a long country road. They'll need to find some extra grunt to flip this situation. Mate, I've always thought choosing a tyre compound is a bit like choosing your favourite Aussie beer. Do you go for something robust that can last, or something that gives a quick hit but might wear out fast?
Haha, well, I reckon it's more like our North Carolina barbecue sauces. Some like it sweet and long-lasting, others prefer that quick tangy kick. But I'll tell ya, getting it wrong is like biting into a pepper when you're expecting a blueberry.
This is going to be a nail-biter. Smells Like Wee is defending for their life, but Eddie G is right there. Can they do it?
That's right. Smells Like Wee is showing some great form, and it looks like Eddie G won't be able to catch up, barring any mistakes.
Eddie G is giving it their all as they chase down Smells Like Wee in P4.
This ain't a trap, it's a coliseum, and the gladiators are putting on one hell of a show.
Eddie G is on a charge. Their split time shows they have upped their pace. It's hotter out there than an Aussie summer day, mate. Reckon YOV can catch some shade behind Patrick Schwantz?
Shade? Here, we call that drafting. Let's see if they can stay cool and make a move. If not, there's always the AC in the pit.
Fair dinkum, YOV, is getting a wriggle on. The gap to Patrick Schwantz is now down to a whisker at 1.5 seconds.
Yov's suspension setup's really letting them carry speed into the apex, catching up to Patrick Schwantz like molasses in winter.
It's a dynamic landscape out there. Yovi's shift to third is testament to that. Yoff is in third and is being closely chased by Smells Like Wee, who is just 0.3 seconds behind. You know, Smells Like Wee, if you were any slower, you'd be going backwards. But good on ya for making YOV work for it. Well, blow me down. Smells Like Wee's lap time just gave YOV a cheeky slap on the rear. Bet that left a mark.
Giddy up. Looks like Smells Like Wee's kicking the dust up. YOV. Better buckle up and respond.
Get ready, folks. With YOV tailing this close to Smells Like Wee, Curvabia Zone is about to become a hotspot.
One wrong move and we could see a spectacular new synchronized pirouette performance by YOV. And Smells Like Wee, though I doubt the judges would give them a perfect score.
It seems like YOV is struggling. They are not able to maintain their pace.
Can YOV refocus and start putting in the lap times we know they're capable of?
And YOV has just won the place from Smells Like Wee. It's a battle of wills out there, each driver trying to outsmart and outmaneuver the other.
It's a battle of nerves now. Who will make the first mistake? Smells Like Wee or YOV? This is high-stakes racing.
Ever felt like you're being watched? Bet Yovi's getting the vibe right about now with Smells Like Wee lurking.
I've seen YOV.
Hold on a moment, Yovi's off the track. Reminds me of my first car, a real lemon. Drove straight but only in reverse.
Well, shoot, Yov's channeling me trying to park in the city. A complete disaster, but always a show.
Like a scene from a thriller, Smells Like Wee's on Yovi's tail, hungry for that spot.
Shoot, Rob, you ever seen a hound chase a rabbit? That smells like me for Rob, trying to close in on YOV. With every twist and turn at Monza.
Smells Like Wee's falling behind YOV. At a rate of knots, they're going to need some serious pedal power to close the gap. Patrick Schwanz is placed first at the moment. They are hoping to keep their distance ahead of Mr. Bang, who is 11.0 seconds behind.
You know, it's like Patrick Schwanz is out on a Sunday Arvo drive. They can see Mr. Bang in the rear view, but there's no rush, mate.
Oi, Yoff, might want to chuck a UEY. With smells like weed that close, you think you owe them money. And between us, I know a bit about that. Smells like weed is in there like a rat up a drain pipe now, YOV. He's not going to be happy about it. Thrilling moment in the race, with Smells Like We in third defending their position with everything they've got. But YOV is relentless, and the gap is less than 0.9 seconds. It's anyone's position at this point.
It's a close race as we can see, and Smells Like We is doing a great job defending their position. Will YOV be able to squeeze through?
It's a thrilling pursuit as YOV is right behind Smells Like We, keeping the pressure on for third place.
If YOV isn't careful, they might end up turning this high-speed chase into a synchronized spinning loop, and trust me, that's not a crowd pleaser.
Whoa there, Eddie G is sticking to YOV, like glue. You reckon Yovi's feeling the pressure? Cause I sure would. Things are getting spicy as YOV is breathing down Smells Like We's. Wait, oh dear, Mr. Bang has had an incident.
That maneuver from Mr. Bang? Just like my attempt at DIY car mods. Ambitious, but not quite right.
Yoff is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to Smells Like We to 0.3 seconds.
That's a great effort from YOV. They need to keep up the pressure and see if they can make a move.
The adrenaline is pumping as Andreas Dittmann gets within striking distance of Eddie G in their race for fourth. As a former driver, how did you manage the physical demands of racing?
It's all about preparation, Ron. Drivers undergo rigorous fitness training to build their strength, stamina, and flexibility. A proper diet and hydration plan is also essential to ensure peak performance on race day.
Yoff appears to be losing ground on Smells Like We. They will need to pick up the pace a bit as they head into Prima Variante and see if they can get a good exit and gain some ground. Where legends are made. Which driver will rise to the occasion and claim victory?
A misjudgment by either driver could result in a close encounter of the tire barrier kind, and that's one handshake they'll want to avoid.
Looks like Smells Like We is coming in hot. They're approaching the turn way too fast.
Did we just witness a gambit?
It seems Smells Like We is recalibrating, now at fifth. Alright, lads and ladies, it's crunch time. Mr. Bang is sniffing around Smells Like We like a dog with a bone. And it looks like they might just take a bite out of fifth.
Y'all see that? Mr. Bang's right on smells like Wee's tail, and with the gap narrow, Variante Ascari is going to be crucial.
Mr. Bang and Smells Like Wee have a gap between them that's growing like Jack's beanstalk. We're talking 0.5 seconds now. It's all eyes on this battle as Smells Like Wee in 5th tries to hold off the challenge of Mr. Bang.
The way Mr. Bang's chasing, you'd think Smells Like Wee took the last piece of Grandma's apple pie. Which, for the record, I did once. Still got the scar.
Smells Like Wee is giving a masterclass out there, but will overconfidence be their downfall?
Indeed, Rob, pride comes before a fall. Let's see if Mr. Bang can capitalize on any mistake. It's clear that Smells Like Wee is dominating right now. They're making it very difficult for Mr. Bang to catch up.
A great moment for Smells Like Wee, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings. The gap between Mr. Bang and Andreas Dittmann is razor thin as they vie for 5th in this nail-biting contest.
This is the moment where legends are made. These drivers will go down in history as the ones who fought tooth and nail for the top spot.
It's an intense battle for position as Smells Like Wee tries to outmaneuver Mr. Bang. This is edge of your seat racing. Hold your breath, folks. Smells Like Wee is sandwiched between two relentless competitors, 0.1 seconds behind and Mr. Bang 0.2 seconds ahead. They're fighting tooth and nail for every position. It may seem like Eddie G is far behind, but YOB can't afford to let their guard down. One mistake could give Eddie G an opening to catch up.
If this was a country song, Yoff would be the one riding off into the sunset, and Eddie G would still be tying their boots.
Yovi's pushing harder than a kangaroo in a boxing match, widening their lead over Eddie G. They've found their rhythm like a didgeridoo player in full swing. How do racing drivers, like yourself back in the day, Hal, train themselves to maintain concentration for long periods of time?
Mental training is a huge part of a driver's preparation, Rob. Techniques like meditation, visualization, and working with sports psychologists can help drivers build their focus and mental endurance for a race.
The pressure is on for Smells Like Wee as they try to catch up to Mr. Bang.
Will Smells Like Wee be able to make a move and pass Mr. Bang?
Superb driving from Smells Like Wee, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race.
I tell ya, Smells Like Wee's hotter than a peppered pickle right now. Bold and spicy, claiming 5th like a champ.
Oi, Andreas Dittmann, if you wanted a tour of Eddie's rear bumper, you've got a front row seat. Better make your move before the show's over. Eddie's in front, but Andreas Dittmann is clinging on like a koala to a eucalyptus branch, reducing the gap to 2.6 seconds. Do you ever ponder how these drivers manage the heat, especially in the tight cockpit? It's hotter than a ruse pouch in midday sun.
Eh? Ruse what? I mean, yeah, it's gotta be like driving in Arizona with the heater on, right?
The gap between Eddie G and Andreas Dittmann may be wide, but that doesn't mean Eddie G is safe. They have to keep their concentration and avoid any lapses in performance.
Absolutely right. Rob and Andreas Dittmann knows that too. They have to keep driving at their best if they want to take advantage of any opportunity that comes their way.
Phew, talk about foreplay. Smells Like Wee and Andreas Dittmann are really teasing us here. I haven't seen this much anticipation since my first date. Smells like wheeze creeping up on Andreas Dittmann like a dingo on a picnic. Must have tweaked that brake bias a touch to the rear.
I've seen drivers fight G-forces, fatigue, and mental strain. But Smells Like We is doing more than just enduring, they're thriving. Andreas Dittmann better check the
Hold the thought, hold the phone, Stroop. Eddie's having a real dog's breakfast of a moment.
Dang, Eddie G went off like my sense of self-worth after my high school reunion. And just as hard to recover.
Smells Like We is on a mission, chasing Andreas Dittmann, who's desperately trying to stay ahead. Smells Like We's showing off some serious moves, making Andreas Dittmann look like they're dancing with 2 left feet.
Sweet tea on a hot day. Smells Like We's laying it down track style. Andreas Dittmann, you watching those rear views?
Mate, I've heard the drivers talking about their car setups. It sounds more complicated than assembling an IKEA bookshelf.
You're not wrong. Back home, we just say it's like trying to line dance on a slippery floor. Takes a lot of tweaks and twists to get it right.
Blimey, Smells Like We is sticking to Andreas Dittmann like a kangaroo to her Joey. At this rate, they'll be side by side as they hit Retifilo Partenza.
That's right. Smells Like We is determined to pass Andreas Dittmann and secure a higher position.
The battle for 4 is heating up as Mr. Bang tries to catch Smells Like We in P4.
One important aspect here is choosing the right braking points. Mr. Bang needs to be precise to avoid overshooting and losing valuable time.
Bloody hell, Mr. Bang's tearing up the tarmac and just snatched 4th. Makes you want to crack a cold one in celebration. Struth, Mr. Bang's taken a bit of a tumble down the order to 5th. Must have missed the memo.
Racing's an art and sometimes the canvas changes mid-stroke. Mr. Bang's shift will add to the intrigue of today's score.
Blimey, Smells Like We is playing a tight game of footy on this track. Mr. Bang's got the ball, but no clear shot at the goal just yet.
Now, if you notice, Smells Like We's shifting that weight balance just right, cutting off the corners, making it a tight squeeze for Mr. Bang.
A commanding performance from Smells Like We, who has increased their lead over Mr. Bang, putting them firmly in their rearview mirrors. But could they be pushing too hard? As with that comes the risk of overconfidence and losing control. Who will be the first to get too cocky and end up in the wall? In a race where seconds count, Eddie G is counting on less of them between themselves and Mr. Bang. Much like I'm counting on less seconds until lunchtime. You can feel the tension in the air.
The drivers are all focused, putting everything on the line for a chance at victory, pushing themselves and their machines to the limit.
And let's not forget about the incredible machines themselves.
Absolutely. It's amazing to think about the kind of engineering and innovation that goes into making these vehicles. But it all comes down to the drivers, who have to be able to handle the power and speed. It's going to be thrilling seeing how this race turns out.
Oh, the chase is on. Smells Like We's breathing down the neck of Andreas Dittmann.
Woo-wee. There's more tension between Smells Like We and Andreas Dittmann than there is at a shotgun wedding. Pass the popcorn and let's see where this love story goes.
The gap between Smells Like We and Andreas Dittmann is getting smaller.
This is where the pressure really starts to build. Both drivers will need to stay calm and focused if they want to come out on top.
These engines aren't just humming for fun. They're thirstier than an Aussie after a game of cricket in the sun.
Cricket? That's like baseball with longer games, right? Anyway, these engines do have a roar that could rival any muscle car back home.
The tension is building as Eddie G trails behind Mr. Bang. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Can Mr. Bang hold on, or will Eddie G be able to close them down?
It's going to be tough for Eddie G, as Mr. Bang seems to have found their rhythm. But anything can happen in racing, and we've seen Eddie G pull off some impressive moves before. I'm excited to see if they can make it happen again.
The gap between Eddie G and Mr. Bang is growing. It's now up to 6.1 seconds. We've certainly seen some of the drivers get it wrong today.
Anyone lost can just follow the trail of skid marks. I hear it's the latest form of GPS navigation.
Let's hope the other drivers don't follow suit. We might end up with a bumper car race instead of a high-speed competition.
At least we'd have something to fall back on if we ever get bored of regular racing. Bumper cars might be the next big thing.
Now, that's what I'm talking about. Smells Like We is proper nipping at Andreas Dittmann's heels. Are they thinking of making a lunge? Only time will tell.
If Smells Like We gets any closer to Andreas Dittmann, they'll need to start sending out wedding invitations.
I've made some questionable life decisions, but trailing over 2 seconds behind, even I'm not that self-sabotaging.
I've seen funeral processions move faster than YOV. Right now, come to think of it, at least they've got a destination in mind.
This is what racing is all about. Two fierce competitors pushing each other to the limit. Looks like Smells Like We is testing the off-road capabilities of their ride. No room for error here. Eddie G is breathing down the neck of Smells Like We, waiting for the perfect chance to make their move.
Now, that's some driving, y'all. Eddie G is putting the pressure on Smells Like We. It's like watching a cat stalk a bird. They're inching closer with every turn.
Well, I'd raise a toast to that move. Cheers to Eddie G for nabbing 5th. Remember when Smells Like We was on the pace? Neither do I. Incident alert. Smells Like We is pitting. Braking development. Smells Like We has decided to pit. The crowd is on tenterhooks as Eddie G in 5th chases after Mr. Bang. The gap is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Can Eddie G find a way to catch up?
Dang, Eddie G is so far back, he might start seeing last week's race. But hey, in racing, as in love, persistence is key. Right, y'all?
The gap between Andreas Dittmann and Mr. Bang is not insurmountable, but it's going to take a mistake from Andreas Dittmann to bring Mr. Bang into play. Impressive driving from Andreas Dittmann, who has managed to extend their lead over Mr. Bang. They are walking away at this point. Does Mr. Bang have anything in reserve? Or are they saving their car for a final push?
Well, Rob, it's like they say, slow and steady wins the race. But in this case, it seems like slow and steady might just be too slow. Will Mr. Bang be able to find that extra gear and catch up to Andreas Dittmann? Or will they end up saving their car for nothing and run out of gas at the finish line? That's a really strong performance from Andreas Dittmann. They're not giving Mr. Bang any chances to catch up.
Even though YOV is a fair way behind Patrick Schwanz, they can't afford to let their guard down. Patrick Schwanz is still vulnerable to mistakes. Patrick Schwanz is really belting along the track, leaving YOV struggling to keep pace.
That's right, Rob, if YOV doesn't pick up the pace, they might as well be moving at a snail's pace. You said it, Rob, with great power comes great responsibility. But sometimes, these drivers forget that and let their egos take the wheel. Let's hope they keep their eyes on the road and not on their own reflections in the mirror.
The evolution of these cars over the years is nothing short of incredible. The aerodynamics, the tire technology, it's all a game of innovation.
Couldn't have said it better. And to think about the data analytics behind every decision, from tire pressures to wing adjustments. It's not just a sport, it's a symphony of engineering and strategy.
The gap between YOV in second and Patrick Schwanz remains over a second, but YOV is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap up. Can they pull it back in the remaining 17 minutes? Looks like Smells Like We is trying to chase down Eddie G, but right now it feels a bit like my attempts at dieting. A lot of hard work with slow results.
Well, slap my grandma and call me Sally. Smells Like We's got more distance to cover than my cousin Cletus has teeth. But if anyone can bridge that gap, it smells like weed.
Well, don't come the raw prawn. Smells like Wee's giving it some stick, pulling Eddie G into a mere 39.5 seconds.
Now this is what I call some high-octane excitement. Both drivers pedal down, looking to grab the brass ring.
So, when you were racing, ever have to do the old nature call dash during a red flag?
Haha, you mean a pit stop for the driver and not the car? Once or twice, you learn to time your drinks, and hope for a long caution. Doesn't always work out though.
Blimey, Mr. Bang's determination reminds me of a kangaroo in a hopping contest.
Well, over here in the States, it's more like a squirrel chasing down its last nut before winter. Either way, it's entertaining to watch.
It's a great day, and the tarmac's heating up, and these tires are getting a proper workout.
Speaking of which, tire management is such an underrated skill. Knowing when to push hard and when to conserve, it's like a strategic dance out there on the asphalt.
Fair dinkum, I reckon Mr. Bang's got that thirsty look in his eyes. Wants to share a cold one with Andreas Dittmann in the front. A couple car lengths might not sound like much, but when you've got Mr. Bang breathing down your neck, it feels like a bloody eternity. Crikey, Andreas Dittmann's flat out like a lizard drinking, pulling away from Mr. Bang with quite a clip.
You ain't whistling Dixie, Rob. Andreas Dittmann's putting on a show that's sure to keep the crowd on the edge of their seats.
As we enjoy seeing these titans of the track battle it out, let's not forget about the pit crews. Those guys and girls are like a well-oiled machine themselves.
Absolutely. They're the unsung heroes of the racing world. But you know what they say, behind every great driver is an even greater pit crew.
Tell ya what, Andreas Dittmann's defending harder than a roo with the last Tim Tam. Mr. Bang's gonna have to pull something special out of the bag.
Surely they've got enough in the tank to pull away. Gonna be interesting to watch this battle unfold.
There's no escape now. Mr. Bang is breathing fire and has locked onto Andreas Dittmann's tail.
It's a game of strategy now as Mr. Bang hunts down Andreas Dittmann. Yes, it's all about choosing the right moments to push and when to conserve energy, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike.
It's game on now. Mr. Bang has closed the gap to Andreas Dittmann. It's now down to 2.9 seconds. Patrick Schwanz is placed first at the moment. They are hoping to keep their distance ahead of YOV, who is 12.0 seconds behind.
Oi, Yoff. Better crank up that Walkman and put on some tunes. At this rate, you'll be catching up to Patrick Schwanz by the encore.
Things are starting to get tense as YOV manages to close the gap to Patrick Schwanz. It's now down to 11.4 seconds.
It's gut check time for Patrick Schwanz. They've got to dig deep and put some serious rubber to the road if they hope to stay ahead of YOV.
It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for YOV, who is currently in P2. But Patrick Schwanz is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from YOV.
Dang, Yoff is so far back, they're in a different time zone. Hope they remember it's race day, not laundry day.
If YOV doesn't pick up the pace, how they'll be as relevant as an ashtray on a motorbike. It's the classic cat and mouse game, but instead of cheese, the prize is a racing position. Can Smells Like We steal it from Eddie G? It's not going to plan for Smells Like We. They are still behind Eddie G and the gap is increasing. I don't think they have an answer for this right now. By the looks of it, Mr. Bang in fourth is keen to throw another shrimp on the barbie and crank up the heat on Andreas Dittmann. Hold on to your stubbies. It's a battle of wills out there, with Mr. Bang trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Andreas Dittmann. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Will we see a dramatic finish to this race? Smells like Wee's drifting so far back, it's like looking in the mirror after a decade-long pub binge. Time's not been kind, mate. Looks like Smells Like We remembered to twist that anti-roll bar, giving him better cornering. If they get any closer to Eddie G, they'll be seeing what they had for brekkie. Oof, if YOV was a kangaroo, they'd be roadkill by now. Come on, mate, put some pep in that step. It's starting to look like we might get a battle between YOV and Patrick Schwanz. Blimey, Mr. Bang is closing in on Andreas Dittmann like they owe them money. This duel is going to light up Premium Curva di Lesmo.
Mate, if I had $1 for every time Mr. Bang looked like overtaken, I'd be sipping mojitos on a beach right now.
If Smells Like We goes any slower, they'll join me in my failed dreams collection. Front row seats available.
Lordy, it's like Smells Like We's driving with a boot full of moonshine. I haven't seen a gap that big since Uncle Jeb lost his front teeth.
Gee whiz, Smells Like We's getting some solid torque out of those corners. They must have figured out the perfect throttle control while trail braking. While Patrick Schwanz is not under immediate threat from YOV, they still need to stay focused and avoid any errors. Any slip-up could cost them their position. Patrick Schwanz's lead over YOV is shrinking quicker than a cheap shirt in a hot wash. We're down to 8.8 seconds. The chase music's playing in Mr. Bang's head as they reel in Andreas Dittmann, moment by nail-biting moment. The gap between Mr. Bang and Andreas Dittmann is widening. It's now up to 17.0 seconds. It may seem like Eddie G is far behind, but Mr. Bang can't afford to let their guard down. One mistake could give Eddie G an opening to catch up.
Well, in the rearview mirror of life, Eddie G might look closer than they appear. But on this track, they've got some miles to cover to catch Mr. Bang.
The gap between Patrick Schwanz and YOV may be wide, but that doesn't mean Patrick Schwanz is safe. They have to keep their concentration and avoid any lapses in performance.
It's like Patrick Schwanz is out on the open highway and Yo's still getting directions at the last gas station. Got a bit of catching up to do.
Even though Mr. Bang is a fair way behind Andreas Dittmann, they can't afford to let their guard down. Andreas Dittmann is still vulnerable to mistakes.
If this was a game of beach cricket, Mr. Bang would be still waiting for their turn to bat. Andreas Dittmann's got a good lead on them.
Andreas Dittmann's losing time to Mr. Bang like a leaky tap dripping water. A bit more slip, and we'll be in for a real dogfight. Patrick Schwanz is placed first at the moment. They are hoping to keep their distance ahead of YOV, who is 7.7 seconds behind. Like a dingo on the chase, YOV is hounding Patrick Schwanz, and the gap's now just 7.4 seconds.
Will Patrick Schwanz keep YOV in the rear view? Only time will tell.
You know, Smells Like We reminds me of my dating life. Starts with promise, ends up tailing behind everyone else.
Speaking of rhythm, have you heard Eddie's favorite song? Maybe Smells Like We can play it to distract them and close that gap. Just a thought.
Looks like Eddie G is legging it from Smells Like We. The gap's growing like a well-watered wattle as they zoom through Primo Curva di Lesmo. While Andreas Dittmann is not under immediate threat from Mr. Bang, they still need to stay focused and avoid any errors. Any slip-up could cost them their position. It looks like YOV is pushing hard to catch up to Patrick Schwanz. The gap is over a second, but YOV is not giving up just yet. Can they close the distance and make a move on Patrick Schwanz?
Gee whiz, Yoff is so far back, I'm half expecting to see tumbleweeds blow past. Maybe a vulture or two.
During your racing career, pal, did you have any specific techniques to regain concentration if you felt it slipping?
Yes, Rob, I had a few techniques. One was to take a couple of deep breaths and briefly reset my focus. Another was to use a specific keyword or phrase as a mental trigger to refocus my mind on the task at hand.
As YOV trails Patrick Schwanz, it's a bit reminiscent of my cat chasing a laser point. Determined, but always just a tad behind. The gap between Patrick Schwanz and YOV is not insurmountable, but it's going to take a mistake from Patrick Schwanz to bring YOV into play.
That's right, and YOV knows that they have to keep pushing hard and driving their own race. They can't let Patrick Schwanz off the hook.
Yovi's gaining on Patrick Schwanz faster than a rattlesnake on a mouse. The gap's now down to 18.7 seconds.
Patrick Schwanz is in a real pickle here. They've got to find the extra pace to hold off YOV if they're aiming to be the top dog here.
You know, mate, I was chatting with some of the pit crew earlier, and they were debating on which tyre compound to use. Hard as deciding between a meat pie and a sausage roll.
Well, back in my indie days, the choice was as clear as sweet tea or lemonade. But I reckon, here, with these changing conditions, it's more of a gamble.
It may seem like YOV is far behind, but Patrick Schwanz can't afford to let their guard down. One mistake could give YOV an opening to catch up.
That's very true, and YOV knows that as well. They have to drive their own race and wait for Patrick Schwanz to make a mistake if they want to have any chance of overtaking.
Oh mate, smells like we's more out of place than a vegan at a Bunnings sausage sizzle. Time to throw another gear on the barbie.
I agree. Smells like we is putting in the effort. Sort of like me at karaoke night. Not sure about the results, but full points for enthusiasm.
Stone the crows. Smells like we's managed to trim that gap with Eddie G, eh? Must be the slipstream effect on this straight. Or maybe they've put down that beer.
He's waiting on that golden chance like a hound on a pork chop.
Yovi's so far off pace, they might be better off in a hearse. At least then someone would be pushing from behind. Hold on to your hats. Eddie G is gunning for Mr. Bang. Reckon we might see some cheeky moves on the next bend? Someone should tell Mr. Bang this ain't a Sunday drive. Eddie's tearing up the track. The track conditions are looking good here today. The drivers will be able to push the cars to the limit and it's going to make for some exciting racing. Wow, Mr. Bang is really pushing hard to catch up to Eddie G. There's blood in the water for 4th place. Blimey, Mr. Bang's cranking up the downforce, making every newton of force count. That gap's shrinking faster than my wallet at the pub.
This is what racing is all about. It's anyone's game at this point. Who will come out on top?
Aussies love a good underdog story. Any dark horses you're keeping an eye on for this race?
Well, every rodeo has its wild card. I've got a couple names in mind, but I'll keep them close to the vest for now.
Alright, hold your horses. Mr. Bang is really putting the heat on Eddie G. If I were Eddie G, I'd be checking those mirrors non-stop. Mr. Bang is looking to take advantage of that aero as they get in range of Eddie G. That's gonna give him the pull they need to mount a challenge very soon.
Every time Eddie G checks that mirror, they've got to be thinking strategy.
Spot on. It's like a chess match at 300 kilometers per hour. Mate, Mr. Bang's right up Eddie's chuff. As they zip through Primo Curva di Lesmo, we're all expecting some fireworks. The tension is palpable. Who will come out on top in this epic showdown?
Can they close up enough for a pass? I don't see it personally.
Looks like Smells Like Weed is chasing Mr. Bang harder than a croc chasing a tourist who's lost their thongs. It's a bit of a long shot, but we all remember that one time at the pub, right? The gap between Smells Like Weed and Mr. Bang is fading faster than the last rays of the outback sun.
This ain't Smells Like Weed's first rodeo. They're optimizing their racing line, reducing understeer. If Mr. Bang ain't nervous, they sure ought to be.
This is where the true champions shine, and Patrick Schwanz is certainly showing their class in the final sector. And there it is. Patrick Schwanz has completed the race in first place, setting a blistering pace that none of the other drivers could match. Smells Like Weed brings home 6th. A nail-biting finish, but YOV claims 2nd place. Impressive drive from Andreas Dittmann to claim the final spot on the podium.
What a drive, well-deserved spot on the podium with that performance.
Mr. Bang take 4th. In 5th, it's Eddie G.